Welcome to Coweta Schools GameDay, where we highlight the student athletes and athletic programs in the Coweta County School System that bring us so much excitement to our community throughout the year. I'm Hap Hines, principal of the Central Educational Center, also known as the CEC. This program is being brought to you by the video team members here at CEC through our school system CCS-TV YouTube channel. And today we're bringing you all the action from our high school football season. This Friday, the Northgate Vikings had a bye week before facing Drew in Riverdale on November 3rd. East Coweta faces Pebblebrook in Mableton, and Newnan travels to Douglasville to face New Manchester. We'll bring you all the action clips from past games and talk about players and coaches with Northgate Vikings head football coach Mike McDonald, East Coweta head coach John Small, and Newnan head coach Chip Walker right here on Game Day. So stay with us. Welcome to Coweta Schools Game Day. I'm here with head football coach of the Northgate Vikings and my good friend Mike McDonald. Coach, glad to have you back on the show, my friend.
Appreciate it, Coach Hines.
Coach, you had a bye week this week. Was it a good time? Did y'all get done what you need to get done during the bye week? Chance to recharge? Was there anything, any fundamentals or anything in particular you wanted your guys to kind of focus on this past week?
Yeah, you know, we're about like everybody else, banged up football team. We got a lot of bum ankles and shoulders and those type of things. So hopefully we got some folks healed up and took some time to, really work on our tackling on defense, tackling in space, and those sort of things. So yeah, it was a good productive week for us.
Awesome stuff. Well, Coach, you got the Drew Titans coming into Valhalla this Friday night, a very formidable opponent. Win there, and you're going to secure first round at home in the state playoffs. But how important is it to secure, home field advantage, you think, in GHSA without getting too far ahead of ourselves?
Well, gosh, I mean, that was a goal. One of our goals this year is we, started out the season, so 7-3, and hosting a first round playoff game. A lot of folks would cut off their pinky toe
to be in that situation.
Yeah, so it would be big. I think it'd be big for our kids and our school.
Absolutely, your team has definitely earned it. Great job, coaches. Great job, players, to put yourself in this position. Your ticket is punched in the playoffs. But how does the rest of the region sort of stack out right now?
Well, it looks like we got 1 week left, so it looks like the way things are shaking out right now, Harris is going to be 1, we'll be 2, Northside 3, and McIntosh 4.
Gotcha.
So got a tough region there in the first round this year, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Warner Robins, Jones County, Dutchtown, and Ola region. So they're very good. So the first round games, I mean, you got to be on, from the get-go.
Absolutely. Fundamentals and scheme-wise, what do you expect to see out of the Drew Titans Friday night?
Well, defensively, they big up front and a lot of A-gap blitzes, and they like to play a lot of zero coverage and come at you. They do, and they've got athletes to do it offensively. They're a good mix. A good quarterback. He started last year, and he's can throw it, but he can run it too. And they got a good running back, a big offensive line, so it's going to be a challenge.
Awesome. Well, Coach, when you look back on the season, it's been a great season. It's all the things your kids have accomplished and just how hard they played, the great wins, and playing some of these teams just so tough. When you look back on the season, what do you think are kind of the things, whether it might be an intangible or something like that have just been integral to your team's success this year?
Well, we talked a lot about togetherness and being connected and those type of things. And we've got a good senior bunch, and they've gone through the program for 4 years, and I think they've done a good job of leading, and we're going to have to depend on that. Right. That senior leadership from here on out, because as it gets tougher here late in the season. But yeah, those seniors have done a good job. We got 26 of them, so that's a big, a big class for us. And there's some guys in there who've played a lot of football since they were sophomores, and we've grown and grown up and gotten bigger and stronger. A lot of them had to play as sophomores and honestly probably weren't ready to, but it's, you're seeing the benefits of that this year.
Mm-hmm. I remember you mentioned something, one of the things coming into the season was a question mark, and it's turned out to be a strength of your program, which is the offensive line, and just seeing the highlights. I know Evans enjoyed running behind those guys for the most part.
Coming into it, we only had 2 starters back, the center and the right tackle, and so 2 guards and left tackle were, JV guys last year.
Right.
But that's how you develop.
Right.
And, Coach Blake Turner does our offensive line, and he does a great job with those guys. They're working from, February to, 2 days a week, and then after spring break, 3 days a week.
It's like a little small team within a team right there. Family
so
within a family.
they're always working, and, it's a good bunch. There's some good personalities, some good leadership in that bunch of offensive linemen, and, they're a joy to coach. I told Coach Turner last week, man, you wish every group was like that offensive line group. They're just, their mentality is just, they're a fun bunch though, and I've enjoyed watching them gel and come together.
Well, Coach, when I look back on the season, just from my vantage point, they've won some big games, played some great ball, wonderful execution, a lot of playmakers making plays. A lot of the familiar names that we kind of see on those highlights every week. You got your 100th win, and now it's counting. But it's never been about that, for you. It's never so much, well, we made the playoffs. It's always been a little bit more, when it comes to you and coaching. What gets you doing? What is that kind of that why?
It just goes back to relationships. I think the relationships with the players and the coaches, of course, that. We're around each other, during football season more than we are on families. So, it's those relationships that you have with your players and your coaches. And, I guess I've been a part of a team since I was 5, 6 years old.
It's like Nick Saban.
Yeah,
you know what's going to happen when you have a team to be part of.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been a part of it for that long. And like I said, I think it's the relationships you build. And sometimes you get the older you get, the more you appreciate those times. And you hope that the kids, the kids will too.
Well, if there was anybody that was bound to be a head football coach in the state of Georgia, it's you. And you're no stranger to the playoffs. Once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. It's like a new season, and you have had some big-time victories, upset some giants in the playoffs. I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but this is a special time to be kind of coaching a group of great kids. And tell us just how excited you are to finish season strong and what you guys got coming ahead.
Like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head. We need to finish strong Friday night against Drew.
Right.
I talked to the kids last week. You want to start to, go into the playoffs feeling good about yourself. So that's going to start Friday night, and it's a much improved Drew team from last year. So it's it's not going to be as easy as what it was. So but we need that, and we need to go play well Friday, and then. You get in the playoffs. Who knows? A lot of that's about matchups, and it's going to be a challenge because all the teams are good and tough region that they play in. So you better be, like we talked about, we need to be playing well going into that first round game.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we'll be pulling for you. Great job this year. Super excited about the game Friday. Super excited about the upcoming playoffs. Take one game at a time. We're there pulling for you. Thanks for all you've done, my friend.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. And with that, we'll be back to more Coweta Schools Game Day in just a few moments. Welcome back to Coweta Schools Game Day. And now we're with my good friend and head football coach of the East Coweta Indians, Coach John Small. Coach, so glad to have you back on the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, I know it wasn't the outcome we wanted, and you had some guys that were banged up going into Friday night and against such a very talented and athletic team, Westlake. Tell us about Friday night, my friend.
Well, obviously Westlake has a very talented team. We knew that going in. We did have some guys out, but that's no excuse. We have guys that need to step up and fill spots when we need to. But our kids have gotten a lot of valuable experience this year in a lot of different atmospheres and against tough opponents, so it's only going to help us down the road.
Absolutely.
But it was 14-0 at halftime. We come out second half and made it 14-7. We're in the ball game late, and they scored later in the game, and then right before the score with about 50 seconds left, you know, to make it 27-7. But really proud of our kids' effort. They never laid down. Kids played extremely hard. And, you know, we got to go back to work and get ready to try to win a game this week.
Absolutely, Coach. Like you said, with the non-region schedule, the region schedule, things were never going to come easy because it was a gauntlet. And your kids have definitely risen to the challenge, won some big-time games. A lot of football still to shake out. That's a lot at stake, you know, to finish out the season. And then the playoffs coming up. You guys have done a great job. Don't you agree that there's so much to be excited about?
There is, you know, and I'm really proud of our coaching staff and the job that they've done. Our senior leadership has been tremendous this year. We don't have a ton of seniors, but they've done a tremendous job leading through some of these times. And a lot of them are not playing right now because of injuries and surgeries, but they're there every day leading these young kids, and really proud of the culture that those guys have created over there at East Coweta.
Well, you've done a great job with that, Coach, and like you said, that foundation is rock solid. That is a tribute to you and your coaching staff, and just like you said, where the program's going. Super excited about what we got coming up. Let's take a look at the highlights from Friday night first.
Yeah, defensively, had a couple kids we were counting on to step up. You know, Chance Gilbert got his first start at safety, and Sam Gritton, a sophomore, had his first start at safety. Up front, Lucas Knockin had 18 tackles on the night. Josh Anderson had 20 tackles on the night. Those guys made most of the tackles, you know. But our front did a good job with Tyler Cobb. Thought he played one of his best games against a very talented offensive line there at Westlake. They tried to run the football, and they also tried to string it out there and get some fast screens going. Our kids did a good job responding to it. They hit us on a couple big plays, a big long run and a touchdown pass, but thought our back end and second level played extremely well on the night. And they got athletes all over the field at every position, you know. But here's Lucas Knockin chasing this down from the middle linebacker spot, and I guess the guy that can run.
Shot out of the cannon. That's great.
And he's a junior linebacker that just gets better and better and better for us. Really proud of Dylan Holston, a sophomore corner that's started for us all year, but he's really coming along and getting better. Big play here by Tyler Horsley coming from the backside. And right here, we're missing Malachi Duggar this night, so Jalen Thornton had to play a different position than he normally plays. And so it put a lot of stress on our kids, but they did a really good job of playing hard. Kicking game, Brock Belden was out this week with an injury, so freshman Aaron McWilliams kicked out to him all our kicking duties.
He's going to be something. Wow.
He is. Big play here by Seth Gritton on the tackle there. And then punting the ball, he did a great job. A lot of pressure coming at him, but he did a good job of getting the ball off. And that's difficult for a freshman guy to have those guys running at you, but he's got an extremely strong leg, and he's only going to get better and better. So here we're just showing a couple punts that he had under some duress, but great coverage by our guys and good roll there. The ball had great field position, flipping the field. And then here's another kickoff that he kicked that he puts in the end zone. And it's a weapon when you can do that consistently.
Absolutely. Make them go 75 yards.
Make them start. Offensively, couldn't really get anything going, but I thought Darrell Thompson played extremely physical in running the football. Passing-wise, we weren't very successful at times, but that's a credit to Westlake's defense. We just kind of got out of sorts, but Darrell Thompson, junior running back, did a great job. Played banged up, you know. He was hurt a little bit, but he's a tough kid. And then our receivers, you know, Seth Gritton was injured in this ball game with a collarbone injury.
Like I said, I knew you had some injuries to nurse there, Coach, but there's no doubt your kids got fight, and they don't back down to anything.
No, they played hard. Didn't play smart at times, but they played extremely hard, and when their backs were against the wall, they didn't fold. They kept battling, so very proud of them for that. Up on the perimeter, Seth Gritton, his career's over in high school because of the injury, but he had a great year for us, and excited about his future.
Absolutely.
Here's Deontay Jones getting some yards here for us on the perimeter. And then here's Darrell right here running the ball, physically running it.
Yards after contact, just hard nose running, Coach.
Then here we're going to take a shot, completion there to Deshaun Horsey getting the first down. A lot of things we can improve upon, and we will this week.
Well, Coach, like I said it earlier in the show, I'm super excited about the rest of the year. I mean, we've got a big region game coming up this week we'll talk about later, but a lot of these familiar names that we keep hearing week in, week out, some new young faces too that we're starting to hear that are really starting to earn their way on at the varsity level. A lot to be excited about, Coach. Who all earned spots on your big play board?
Well, our City of Hope defensive player of the game was Lucas Knockin with 18 tackles. He's consistent. Our City of Hope offensive player of the game was Darrell Thompson at running back. Our special teams City of Hope player of the game was Aaron McWilliams. Our kicker, freshman kicker. Our hog of the week, a student that attends here at the CEC, is Tyler Cobb.
Great kid. We love him.
Great young man. Our Georgia Farm Bureau player of the week was Josh Anderson, had 20 tackles on the night. Our scout offensive player was Tyler Harmon. He's a sophomore offensive lineman. Our scout defensive player of the week was Sam Gritton, who also started for us as a sophomore this week. And then a guy that's just consistent every day, great attitude. Our special teams player of the week was Connor Daly.
That's great.
So proud of all those
Connor,
kids.
They are, Coach. That is a wonderful group right there you just named. Coach, as we kind of jump forward to this week, we've got Pebblebroook, a win versus Pebblebroook, and you've got the 3 seed going into the playoffs. You've done a great job with this program. They're going to be ready to go against anybody they take on in the playoffs. But tell us first about Pebblebroook Falcons. What are we expecting out of them?
Well, very athletic football team. They've got some hope to still get into the playoffs, so it's going to be a battle. Right. We've got to come away with a win this week, where we're going to be in some type of tiebreaker situation, see how that shakes out. But we want to control our own destiny, so we've got to go over there and play well, go back on the road again. But they'll be a talented football team that's hungry to win a game, and we'll have our hands full, but I know our kids will be ready to respond the right way.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, no moment is ever too big for your guys. They know what big-time football is because they've established themselves a big-time program. When you're looking forward this week, what's kind of the message you're going to be sending to the kids as they go into this game versus Pebblebroook?
Well, first thing is these guys got a chance to win 7 games in the regular season. And before the season started, not a lot of people gave us a chance. Right. But these kids have got a chance to win 7 games and finish 7-3, which is an outstanding regular season record. And then go into the playoffs, and everybody goes in 0-0. 0-0. And you get in there, and you just want to get in the dance, and anything can happen. So that's the message. Now these kids will respond the right way.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we got a lot of football to be played, and we're super excited about. Looking forward to being there Friday night. Best of luck to you guys. Go get them, Coach. We'll be pulling for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And with that, we'll be back with more Coweta Schools Game Day in just a few moments. Welcome back to Coweta Schools Game Day. We're here with my friend and head football coach of the Newnan Cougars, Coach Chip Walker. Coach,
how are you, buddy?
Always glad to have you back, buddy.
Good to see you.
Coach, like I said, when you draw the short straw and have to take Langston Hughes and Douglas County back-to-back weeks, that didn't even go for the rest of the region schedule. But like you said, each game brings about good growth. Your young team's fighting hard. Tell us about Friday night.
Well, obviously, I think Douglas County's ranked number 2 in the state. One of the top, I want to say I saw about 50 or 60 in the country. Right. Good football team. We went over there. We didn't play our best football. Right. We didn't play as good as we did the previous week versus Langston Hughes, which was a little disappointing. But one of the things as a young football team, and I told them and we talked about, was versus Langston Hughes, we played like we practiced in that first half. Mm-hmm. Versus Douglas County, we played like we practiced last week in that first half as well. Yeah. And so if we learn to go practice and do the things we need to do every week, it's a growing experience, and so that's one of the things that our guys have got to do and continue to learn with these young guys that, you don't necessarily just win the football game on Friday night. Right. You win that game on Monday through Thursday. And so, we got to get better at that.
Coach, you're basically playing in the SEC in region ball. And here we are, though, we're sitting here going into the final week with a great chance to get into the playoffs. That is a tribute to your coaching staff, to you guys, to your players. We're in the final game here, and we got so much to play for. I think that speaks volumes. And expand on that.
Well, it goes to our kids. Obviously, started off at the beginning of the year young, slow. Right. Lost two rivalry games. We played 2 rivalry games back to back, and I guess that's kind of like playing Auburn and Alabama back to back when you play Sandy Creek and East Coweta. So that was tough. Our kids grew, got better, developed, and then obviously to hit these last 2 good ones. But all we got to do we got to go beat New Manchester at New Manchester on Friday night, and then we can't have Langston and Douglas get upset by South or Paulding
Absolutely.
County, which hopefully is not going to happen. And
I don't see that happening.
Hopefully it's not going to. And the one thing, this is the thing that we'll talk about this week, is we can control one of those three things.
Absolutely.
So we got to go control what we can control and just take care of business at New Manchester and go get a W.
Absolutely. I'll be pulling real hard for Langston Hughes and Douglas County Friday night.
Me too. I've already texted both the coaches and said, make sure y'all take care of business this week.
Well, let's take a look at Friday night's highlights, Coach.
Here you see Nathan Scales, junior corner for us, with a big interception. Yeah, I mean it was a big play. They've hit that same play a couple times, and Scales did a good job. There's another version of your neighborhood connection with Hayes throwing it to Porter.
Porter, super proud of Porter Child.
Yeah, he did a good job. Here you see 10th grade tailback Sean Greer. We talked a little bit about before we got on here. We ended up playing Sean, who was our third tailback, a bunch. He had 11 carries for about 50 yards. There you see Caleb Reed, who's been playing lights out with a big sack and fumble, and a good throw from Brody.
Good hole shot right there.
Yeah, he made it go. Here's Sean again. Dalen Heath getting out there in front of him and, getting us about 10 yards or so. We're going to recover another fumble. I think that might have been Caleb again. And then here's Hayes to Gus for the touchdown, and it got us on the board there in the second half.
Super proud of those kids, Coach. And like I said, I've gotten real familiar with just a lot of those names you've mentioned. Coach, who all hit your big play board up this week?
Well, player of the week this week, Hayes McGinnis. Hayes was 8 of 14 for about 70 yards, threw a touchdown. Thought he threw the ball really, really good. Special teams player of the week, Ethan Devers. Even though he did miss field goal attempt, he missed one that was his first miss of the year.
I was about to say, those don't happen very often.
Don't happen very much. That's only the third one in 3 years. He punted the ball extremely well and did a really good job. Offensive lineman of the week, Javion Hinton. I thought he had a really good game. He's been kind of banged up the last couple of weeks, and we've limited him. And he came back and played like the guy that we knew he could. Defensive player of the week, Nathan Scales, shot a big interception. Had a his big time play. Then the culture awards, Zacarion Tucker, who gives it everything he's got every time he's on the field. Caleb Reed, I think we call his name just about every single week in here. Caleb was the big hit. And then the Echo, the scout team guys on offense, for our defensive guys, Cole Fogelston, and then Isaiah Taylor for the offensive guy that would have been the Echo guy for our defense. So it's been it was a good week. We're excited about getting back out there today and getting ready for this next one.
Like I said, Coach, a lot of it is about getting to this point. Let me tell you, that's impressive. You guys are playing in your 10th game this week with a lot in favor to take care of to get in the playoffs. I think that is an absolute tribute to where you've gotten your team to this point, your young guys, the culture and development of the program just speaks volumes to their character, the coaching staff, everything. We're real excited about Friday night with all that.
When you get a chance to be one of the 32, that's always big.
That's always big.
And you're talking about, there's probably 60 or so 6A teams in the state. When you get a chance to be one of those 32, you never know what can happen. Get in there and then also with the young team, you're also building for the future as well. Get a little playoff experience.
And just to see a lot of those kids, like I said, we're thinking great things for the future. You can see how much they've just come along from where they were when the season started to where they are now. I think it is a great foundation. I'm excited about getting in the playoffs and see what we can do right there.
Exactly right.
Coach, you're well versed in what it takes to compete in the state playoffs. And get in, anything can happen. How special would that be for this group? Oh,
it'll be huge. It will be a huge experience for them. One, for the senior class to go out this way.
Absolutely.
It's a senior class who has endured more as a student and a student athlete than any that's ever come through Newnan High School. This senior class has never had one normal school day at the high school. For them to finish going into playoffs would be huge. And then for the young guys on the back end of that, anytime that you can go and get in the playoffs, we'd be going to number one Gainesville to get that experience in the playoffs. All it does is set the stage for next year. So it's a kind of a twofold thing. And then you never know what happens when you get in the playoffs. We've told stories of several guys when they've got in there. Every single year around the
Yes.
state, every year, there will be a 4B to 1.
There's no doubt
There's
about
no
it.
doubt about it. So who knows what will happen?
It's like starting the year over at 0-0.
Yes, it is.
Well, Coach, I can't think, like I mentioned earlier, I can't think of a more deserving group. The coaching staff, the players, community, everybody, and to be at this point with such a young team and a just gauntlet of a region schedule and non-region schedule. I am super excited. I'm fired up about it. Like I said, I think if things go the way they're going to, we're going to be sitting here getting ready for the playoffs next week, Coach.
We'll come back and talk a little bit about Gainesville.
Absolutely, Coach. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And with that, we'll be back more on Coweta Schools Game Day in just a few moments. That will do it for this week on Game Day. Thanks to our head coaches and best of luck to all our Coweta teams this weekend. We'll be back with you throughout the year highlighting the great action on the fields and in the gyms of the Coweta County School System. So don't forget to like and subscribe to CCS-TV. It helps to get the word out about all the great happenings throughout our school system. I'll see you soon.